and welcome to the 2019 Ames gubernatorial debate. Today's debate prompt will be based on the United States immigration, gun, and drug policies. Good luck, candidates. Please state your name and your slogan.
All right, my name is Kreger, and my slogan is Shawnee K will find a way.
My name is Maria Aviles, and my slogan is Maria 2K19.
All right. Sean, the first question is for you.
All right, perfect.
Giovanni Perry, an economist who studies immigration and labor and possible removal of illegal aliens in the United States at the University of California, said to the New York Times that, quote, some sectors like construction, agriculture, housing, and personal services would be drastically reduced. It would definitely trigger a recession, end quote. How do you think the removal of undocumented immigrants would benefit the U.S. economy?
I think the removal of undocumented immigrants would benefit the U.S. economy by giving the jobs to the more professionally trained people, such as the U.S. citizens, and that's all I have to say.
All right, Maria, the next question is for you.
Doesn't she get a rebuttal?
She does get a rebuttal, yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, going against Sean's point, there are actually 11 to 12 million undocumented people in the United States. And if we lost all of those people, we could lose $11.47 billion in revenue. So it wouldn't help the economy, and they make up 4.8% of the workforce. So.
All right, thank you. All right, Maria. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, illegal immigrants pay over $11.6 billion annually in taxes. Although the highest costs of undocumented immigrants on the economy would generally be related to education and healthcare, many undocumented immigrants are typically barred from receiving many of the costliest benefits, including Medicaid. How would you change the laws so that if undocumented immigrants were allowed to stay, they would be able to receive their fair share of services?
That's a good question. I think that's something that's really important, and that they should be allowed to have things like Medicaid and Medicare because, I mean, if they're here and they have a job and they're supporting families, it's a necessity to have healthcare and Medicaid. So I would suggest making it easier to become a citizen first off, and in the meantime, giving everybody, especially those who are working and who have families, green cards and visas, and making it more of a point to humanize these people because they're not just illegal immigrants; they're just undocumented humans. We need to stop looking at them as like criminals and such bad people when they're just people who are trying to better their lives.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I have a rebuttal. I disagree with Maria's point. If we open amnesty for all, it just opens the door for all undocumented immigrants to just keep on coming in. And I just think it's unfair for the people that try to come here legally.
All right,
So
thank you. All right, John.
All right.
Although state-by-state legalization of marijuana has taken place, federal law still bans marijuana, and immigration authorities say they're bound to follow that prohibition when reviewing citizenship applications. This past fall, 2 people were denied their citizenship application in Colorado after working in the expanding marijuana cultivating market, according to NBC News. How would you fix this obstacle in current laws?
All right, personally, I support the legalization of marijuana. There have been many complaints about drug trafficking from illegal immigrants. In fact, in 2005, 6.9 million pounds of marijuana with an estimated street value of $80 billion was seized from customs agents. So if marijuana was legalized, illegal immigrants would not be inclined to smoke marijuana.
All right, thank you.
Okay, do I have
Yes,
a rebuttal?
yes.
Okay, so for a rebuttal for that, I think we're focusing a little bit too much on marijuana and it being connected to immigrants coming into the country when, first off, like Sean said, legalizing marijuana would be good for the economy in a way that it creates jobs and it's lower street crime, which and it makes it safer when it's like packaged and like pre-packaged instead of just like buying it from like random sources. But to just focus on like the immigrants bringing in marijuana, it draws focus away from potential problems with marijuana in the country with citizens, like current citizens. So.
All right, thank you. All right, Maria, according to the ACLU, white and black Americans have used marijuana at the same rate since 1977, since this recording. But the rate of arrest for possession of marijuana shows a different story, with blacks being arrested at nearly 3 times more than whites. How would you combat this difference as the legalization process state by state goes forward?
That's a good question. So legalizing marijuana actually stops racial disparities because of what you said. Black people are criminalized more for, around like crimes involving marijuana. So if we were to legalize it, then there would be less of those racial disparities, and it would settle down the tension of that whole issue.
All right, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I agree with Maria's point. If you were to legalize marijuana, there would be less discriminations. So, yeah, I agree with her point, 100%.
Okay. Your last question. According to Cornell Law School's definition of Bill 18 U.S. Code Section 922D, it is unlawful for any person to sell a firearm to another if he suspects mental illness in that person. However, 59% of the 185 public mass shootings that took place in the United States from 1900 through 2017 were carried out by people who had either been diagnosed with a mental disorder or demonstrated signs of a serious mental illness prior to the attack. How would you further protect the American public from shootings committed by those with a mental illness?
Okay, that shows the importance of background checks, because if we don't have people background checks before they buy guns, then you don't know who's getting their hands on them. And it's kind of to add to the background check thing. It stops the not to use the word black market, but the under the table sales of guns, because those aren't safe, and you don't know who's getting their hands on a weapon. So.
Sean?
All right, my rebuttal is, despite all of the background checks, and people will still find a way to get guns legally. There's the black market, there's criminals smuggling in guns, immigrants. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to do a closing statement now. Sean, you will go first. You have 1 minute to please close the debate.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start off by giving my warm thank you to Mr. Gotzel, Daily Olivian, my lovely campaign staff. In conclusion, I am anti-wall, I am pro-Second Amendment, and I believe in the legalization of marijuana. So I want you to vote for me on Friday. Shawnee K will find a way.
All right, Maria.
I would just like to thank my epic campaign team for all the creative social media work and help with forming my policies. I'd like to thank the Daily Olivian, Jackson, for those wonderful questions, and Mr. Gotzel for hosting this amazing class. And lastly, I would just like to make it clear that I am trying to promote more peace, less violence, and amnesty for all, because we're a country of welcome, freedom, and I think that you should vote for Maria on Friday for the governor of all of Ames.
All right, thank you.
Woo!
Maria for go!